Okay, we're back. What is a practical example, be it your electricity bill, phone bill, of a policy in action?
Yeah. So first of all, what I would say, I was going to start with banks first. When you set up an account, you should do that Control F and take a look for financial abuse in the terms and conditions.
Yeah. And maybe we didn't get there, but are we just wanting to see the words? And because a lot of people get overwhelmed with contracts, but is it fair to say if there's the words financial abuse or abuse mentioned in the contracts, they likely will have some mechanisms in the background?
Correct.
Okay.
And those specific terms are also targeted towards the abusers.
Great.
To say, we'll take action against you. And it's actually not about closing their accounts. It's just about
a lot of these
saying,
abusers are cowards.
That's right. It's about saying, we can see you.
Yeah.
We don't accept it, and that's not the culture we want to live in.
Yeah.
And so that's why I framed them in that way. But a number of the organisations have also said, and here's who you contact if you're experiencing domestic abuse or financial abuse. So you might find those details in those terms. I think most terms, online terms, have got something like 6,000 words. So I just say look for 2.
Yeah.
So that's a starting point. If you are setting up accounts with a partner, what you want to do is talk about what's your money, what's my money, and what's our money.
Yeah. And
how are we going to manage that? So, yeah, I think you need to start with that conversation about what's your money, what's my money, what's our money. That'll also give you an indication if you're in the throes of a really romantic relationship and maybe you might have different views about money.
Okay, I didn't want to pull this thread, but hey, we're here now. I would obviously rather the fence at the top of the hill than the ambulance at the bottom. Let's talk fence, top of the hill, with people who are not in relationships yet. And so what you've touched on is a lot of the stuff that Jess from Financially Fierce talks about. I have guests on. It's about money philosophy at the start or near to the start of a relationship. Are we on the same page? If we're not, do we acknowledge our pages? And also, at the risk of being a relationship expert, just looking in my anecdotal experience, when there has been abuse, don't ignore red flags at the start of a relationship and make sure you've got good life-giving friends and family members giving you input and feedback at the start of any relationship. Am I seeing anything here are you seeing anything here that I'm missing? Don't ignore red flags.
I absolutely agree. And you know what I think is really encouraging? That my kids and kids now are being taught about consent.
Consent, yeah.
What it is, how you ask for it, and how you give it. How you give it freely.
And how you can withdraw it at any time.
Exactly. And it needs to be free and informed and enthusiastic.
Yep.
I have a view that we need to have that same conversation about money.
Consent in the bedroom and at the bank counter.
Perfect. It's exactly what it is, right? And I think we can have that. It's a bit harder for an older generation where consent wasn't a thing we talked about.
Yeah.
Certainly it wasn't when I went to school, but for younger people who are just starting out in relationships and money relationships, I think that's an important conversation.
Because I think it's, and call me old-fashioned, but it is okay to be in a relationship and share your money. That's okay if it's healthy. I don't think it needs to be all or nothing. Life is complex. Life is not black and white. It's grey. So,
but also, you couldn't buy a house if you didn't pool your income, right?
Exactly.
But what I would say is if you are then looking for a mortgage, think about you can have separate offset accounts.
Yes.
You could have one each and it both goes to pay off the mortgage. So look for a bank that could offer that because that, if the worst happened, that's a form of protection for you.
Yeah, and it's just called wisdom and being wise and looking after yourself. And particularly if you've come out of a relationship that has had abuse, if that person that you're now seeing doesn't get your vibe, they're probably not the person for you anyway. So well, fast forward, we're in the relationship. Things have not worked out and there is abuse going on. I just want that practical example with the telco or the energy company, how they pull the trigger on an abusive situation, because I'm all out practical,
absolutely
tangible things.
So what I've found, unfortunately, the best way to get help for these circumstances is to say the words domestic violence. So don't be hedging your bets and saying, I'm worried about these things. Literally say to, and most businesses will have someone that they can escalate to.
Yes.
I am experiencing domestic violence or financial abuse. I need some help to secure my accounts and be safe.
Yes.
I also need some help to separate or disentangle.
So, and based on your experience, because it is a vulnerable thing, if someone is experiencing some abuse in a relationship, more often than not, is there going to be an hour hold time on phone? Is it an offshore call center? Or is there someone who's got the same cultural vibe and actually is empathetic and gets it?
It's going to be really mixed depending on who your provider is.
Okay.
So some organisations have set up specialist teams like the one that I set up.
Yes.
Where there's special training.
At CBA.
Absolutely. But there's a lot of organisations that have done that.
Yep.
A number of the banks, a lot of the there's telcos who've done it, energy companies that have done it. Unfortunately, there's some that haven't done it. So it is a bit of a mixed bag depending on who your provider is.
Yep.
Insurance companies have done it as well. But I do think because we're all becoming much more aware of responsibility, and because evidence does show that people will talk to their friends and family first for help, they're more likely to go to a bank to talk about financial abuse than they are to go to a specialist domestic violence service.
Yes.
Because you need to have access to money. You also need to have access to your phone. So they're the two big areas where you will get help. It is, some of them have got chatbots, so you could do it online. Some of them you have to call up. Some of them you might need to walk into a branch or a store. So
if someone in a relationship, the perpetrator wanted to dick around and cancel, they were still on the electricity bill and they'd moved out of the house and they wanted to dick around and cancel the account, what tripwires would there be at the energy company to stop that happening?
So my last paper actually looked at some of these issues on energy and water, and unfortunately not all of them have got good tripwires.
Wow.
So
who's leading the way? Banks and telcos and insurance, or?
Banks are definitely leading the way.
Yeah.
I think financial services are leading the way. It's interesting. I wanted to ask you a question actually about financial advisors, right? Financial advisors got a really important role to play.
Yeah.
I've been talking to financial advisors a lot this last year through the FAAA.
Yep.
And
are you going to the conference in Perth?
I am.
I'll see you there.
Oh, yay. Well, I'm actually on a panel there. We're going to talk about this.
Great.
And they've got such an important role to play because there are also these life moments and financial decisions that people are making which are high-risk times. If you are setting up a self-managed super fund, there are no protections on financial abuse there. So if both of you were to take money out of another super fund and put it into a self-managed super fund, you won't have the same protections against financial abuse, for example. There are other high-risk financial transactions for financial abuse. So financial advisors have got a really good role to play. And if I said to you, any clients in your former life where you might have suspected there was financial abuse, did you know what to do about it?
Number one, there was a weird story that I got that I didn't think it was financial abuse. But I think what I would say to that is, like, number one, I haven't been a licensed personal financial advisor for 8-9 years. So that's number one. But we have plenty of financial advisors who listen to this podcast. I would probably really encourage, we've got to know our clients and have a high level of empathy, or read the room, or if you see some dickery going on, I think we need to lean over and press that buzzer. Now, I actually don't know what that buzzer is, and I'll definitely go to the session at the FAAA conference. But I think if I rewind and I saw financial abuse in play, I don't know. I see, and this is the thing, I think licensees probably have a role to play in terms of a mechanism or the associations. But my first call, I'd probably talk with a colleague first and go, hey, I've noticed this. What do you vibe? Secondly, if you do know your clients, potentially it's, I think if you do know your clients, you should have the latitude to potentially call a potential victim and have a discreet conversation. Just wanted to check in. I don't know. My answer is I don't know.
Well, I think,
but we're talking about it, and there are professionals listening, and we just need to be aware of the signs if we see it.
Absolutely. And that's why there's a number of those high risk kind of transactions, nominating your life insurance beneficiary, another area that's a risk. What I would say is the parliamentary inquiry into financial abuse last year said financial advisors have got a really important role.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And my question is, and I've been to a financial advisor. I love my financial advisor. When I went there, when I had a partner with my ex-husband, we were treated as a couple and it was our couple goals. We were not treated as two individuals in the couple. And so my challenge to financial advisors and also to anyone who's seeking financial advice is, yes, you will have couple goals, but what are your individual goals? And how do you think about what could go wrong if, unfortunately, your relationship broke down?
Yeah.
Like so many do. Have you got the right advice in place that also protects you?
Yeah, and one thing that I always teach is, yes, we can have a joint account with the energy coming out of and the rent coming out of and all that. But if we have an emergency fund, for example, the family might have a $20,000 emergency fund. Well, let's put $10,000 in our each in own name individual accounts. Or something like that.
Great idea.
Just, we're on the same page, because it's not only the what if there is abuse. Well, what if there's a medical event and someone loses their cognition, or it's just some practical things that will catch all.
Yeah.
But when I talk about goals on the show, we talk about with couples, what's the couple goal or the household goal? And then what are our individual ones? And do we have turns? All right, now we just did my goal of wanting to climb Everest without an oxygen tank on or whatever the guy did. And all right, now it's your turn. Let's now achieve your goal. So I think you can walk and chew bubblegum, but I think it's being conscious and
at consent again,
and
right?
consent, yeah. And I will say, particularly and I'm probably talking now to people who may notice, because a lot of this platform I like to use is for good and a PSA and all that. Guys and gals, and unfortunately it's women who end up being a victim of all this crap. If you notice anything with your friendship circles or your couples and you get the ick or something around, please say something to your friend. Because number one, you could be the mechanism that empowers that person and supports her to get help.
Yeah.
You could be the support. It's so important that people don't feel that they're alone.
I agree. In fact, I was talking to a survivor advocate recently who was saying it took her 15 years to muster up the courage to leave, and it took a few times as well. She was very, very unsafe. So not everybody's going to disclose, but if they know that you are a safe harbour, you are the person who's inquiring, and that you will believe them if they say something is going on, that's really important. It can take someone up to 7 or 8 times to leave.
Yeah.
To leave for the final time. And actually that point of leaving is the most unsafe.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, I've been helping people in the thick of it, and it's scary.
It is scary.
And
it's scary for everybody.
It's scary, and the money's really, a lot of it got nothing to do. A lot of the time, got nothing to do with it, because the situations are scary. And I think, shout out, look after your friends. And this is just a big PSA today. Now, over the last kind of decade, what advice would you give to people if they are starting out, or I'm even happy to throw to you for any final comments, or is there anything I haven't asked you that you would like to talk about?
Yeah. Look, the main thing I would say, I think we've covered everything that I really wanted to talk about, but I would encourage all the people who are listening or watching this to take a look at their terms, do the find and replace, put it into ChatGPT and ask, does your bank account, does your insurance cover policy, your energy account, your water account, your telco account, anyone you're doing business with, do they offer that protection?
I'm going to do that live now while we're here. So my energy controller, it probably looks bad on the camera right now, but here we go. My energy controller or provider, let's have a look here. Online terms and conditions.
Okay. I can tell you that they do have it.
Okay, cool.
They're the only energy company that's introduced it.
Wow. Okay, well, shout out to AGL.
And it's not in their terms. It's actually, they've got a separate page called, it's in their customer charter.
Well, there you go. I've got a real-time ChatGPT with me. But I'm with AGL Energy, so I'm like,
yay, big shout out to AGL. And good one for, they were the first mover in energy,
also,
which is
can I have a
fantastic.
discount? Thanks.
What I would say is, but if you go to the Respect and Protect website, respectandprotect.au, every single company that's changed their terms and conditions, we've published them.
Right. So Respect and Protect is your website.
Yep.
And we'll put a link in the show notes. You've got a brain, enter, protect and...
Yeah, Respect and
Protect. Check it out.
Check it out and see if your company does have it. Now, what I do know from research that we've done with Australians is that 96% of Australians want these protections. 3 in 4 want them from the companies they deal with, and more than 20% will switch companies for those protections. So vote with your feet. And also, if there is a company that is not listed on there and you want them to be part of it, there's a form on that website to say, here's the company that I wish would do it.
Yeah, awesome.
And I'm happy to then, I collate all of those and I send them to those companies and say, your customers want this.
Love it.
People power.
Love
Let's
it.
go.
Well, I think we could end on a wheelie bin running past. But yeah, respectandprotect.com.au.
It's actually respectandprotect.au.
.au, fancy much. Anyway, find that out.
It's AI, man.
It is.
It's the new world.
It is. So we are at South by Southwest. What are you most excited about after being here for the week?
Oh, I'm excited about the possibilities. So what I loved, I did a presentation at the beginning of the week, lots of product designers in the room, and they're the people I talk to say, I want you to think about the ways that your products are being misused and redesigned for safety. I'm also really excited about community and the networks, because there's a whole lot of people here who I would never have met like you. And we're all after the same thing. Connection, community, and how does tech and money and entertainment come together to give us all a richer life?
You know, I was thinking, and you've probably heard this analogy. I think in my book, Sort Your Money Out or Sort Your Career Out, I talked about the analogy of when the seatbelts were first introduced. The governments wanted to mandate and legislate them all around the world. But weirdly, the car companies were against them.
They were. And now look, and that's what actually the e-safety commissioner, Julian Grant, talks about all the time.
Yeah,
exactly that.
It's the same with cigarettes. The only companies that were saying they're good for you were the ones that were selling them.
And so that's how I think about some of the Gen AI and the social media companies. And that's part of what I say to companies, to say, you need to see this. Unfortunately, those big platforms haven't built safety in.
Yeah.
It's an afterthought. And let's have a look at the damage that is causing big swathes of people in our community. So I don't want us to be like that. That's why I work with other sectors. The tech sector's not ready for me yet, but one day they will be.
I don't know if I was ready for you yet, but here we are. Hey, if you're a business out there or you've got a decent sized company and you want some safety type consulting, can people just reach out via LinkedIn, Catherine Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, best to get me via LinkedIn, or you can go to our website, which is flequity.au.
Yeah.
Made up word.
Yeah, love it.
But we consult to businesses on how to help them understand the ways their products are being misused and what they can do about it. And we work with people with lived experience to make sure it's very current.
Yeah.
We also, there's a lot of free information through my Design to Disrupt reports, which you can also just download.
Awesome.
So if you're in banking, general insurance, energy, water, and forthcoming telco, they're all free.
Yeah, and financial advisors listening, see you in Perth.
And sign up to Respect and Protect. Put it in your terms and conditions. So far we have one that's introduced it, one financial advisor in Australia. Another one has committed to do it and she's still working on it.
Shout out to my colleagues, Phil Thompson, Put It In Your Business, James Millard, Sufficient Funds, Alex and Scott from Everest Wealth, Rachel Kroon from Sphere Home Loans. They're all businesses that I deal with. It'd be cool if you guys had a look at this stuff.
Yeah, and then maybe when we're at FAAA Congress, we can all get a group photo and say these are the first movers in the financial advice sector.
Let's go.
Do it.
Anyway, my name's Glen James. Catherine Fitzpatrick, thank you so much for having a chat with us today on Money, Money, Money.
Thank you so much for having me, Glen.
Hey, it's Glen here. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You made it to the end. Can I ask a favor? Can you hit that like button and maybe hit subscribe if you want to get notified when we release further videos just like this one, whether you watch the Money, Money, Money podcast or Retire Right. And remember, if you want to learn more about investing, I've got an investing book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, and there's a link in the description to get your hands on a copy. Thank you so much. Bye.